the greatest radio show that no one has ever heard of. Coming to you direct from 816 South Broadway in downtown Los Angeles. Brought to you by 3 drunk idiots and a guy who can't walk. You are now listening to Superior Fandom!
All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in with us. It's the Nate and Joe Show. I'm Nate Joiners, my partner Joe Holt.
What's up, guys?
And we are we're missing one key component tonight, and that's Mr. Jarrett Young, but he's with some thoughts. He couldn't get out of work. But we do still have Mr. Mike Gonger over there.
How's it going?
Fair to Midland. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, see, we got a good show planned for you guys tonight.
Got shit planned.
Well, actually, that is pretty accurate. But we think we're going to do a pretty mediocre show at best for you, and see how that goes.
I think it's going to be good. I just don't think it's planned.
I think tonight we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna not quite talk just specific sports in general. We're going to
talk about the fans.
Yeah, we got to talk about these shitty and good fans.
Luckily for all of us here, we've had the fortunate experiences over the last couple of months to be in a few new stadiums and new places. We've seen some new fans, we've seen some old fans, and we just want to bullshit about it. I'd like to start. It's hockey season. We're going
hockey
into
playoffs.
the playoffs. I went to a couple Kings games this year. They're badass. A couple of our good buddies are really diehard LA Kings fans. Their fan base is awesome.
Kings have a phenomenal support in their fans. Their fans are very knowledgeable. They're they're not. It's not a fan base that rivaling teams are afraid to go to because they're actual fans of the sport, and they're not just they don't go to fight, even though they're there to watch hockey, which the primary part of hockey is to kick the shit out of each other. So no, I agree with you. Kings fans are phenomenal.
Well, and they've had some bandwagoners over the.
Well, of course, they just won a
couple
Stanley Cup, so
seasons.
that's going to happen.
They've won a title, so people are pretty excited about that. What I want to talk about in particular, though, is just those fans, the core of them. There's not very many of them in number necessarily, but there is a ton of ferocity, if you will. They're really into it. I dig hockey games because those are the only professional games that have chants like the other team sucks. You know what I mean? Devils suck was one that I heard a lot.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just into it. Like, I support that. And
in college basketball, it's all kids, and they constantly they'll bullshit, like an entire arena. And how does a network how do you cover that up with an entire arena of 19-plus-year-olds are screaming bullshit?
And meanwhile, like on the other end of that spectrum, you got the Dodger fans or even Angels fans that start the wave up in the middle of their game.
You can't compare Dodger fans and Angel fans.
Well, they're not exactly the same, but they're both shitty in their own ways.
Oh, dear.
Mike, let's
get
off the subject of good fans and bad fans. We went out to the A's and Angels games Monday, the one where John Jaso hit the 2-run homer to win the game in the 9th.
That's right.
And our good buddy Mike Gung, the good Samaritan over here himself, got us kicked out of two 2 different seat locations and didn't do anything
impressive.
wrong. Mike, you want to
Pretty
tell
good.
him a story?
In the handicapped location, mind you.
Yeah, with the guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And no, we weren't drunk.
Well, were you wearing a Giants hat?
No, actually.
Oh.
I had a hoodie on, but that's it.
But it said Giants.
On the back.
I'd have kicked you out too.
But no, that's the thing. That's the thing that would
coming,
be
Holt.
that would be acceptable. But they didn't even kick me out. They kicked Mike out.
They did. We were only a beer deep. I started yelling, "Let's go Oakland!" We've got a noticeable chant of "Let's go Oakland!" 3 claps afterwards. I decided to pick on our starting first baseman that game, Derek Barton, who really is a AAA player.
4A.
Yeah,
player.
you could make an argument for
Yeah.
that. I was razzing him. I was really digging in deep, just letting him have it. I wasn't saying anything obscene. I wasn't using any cuss words, no slurs. Yet 2 Angels attendants found the need to
Different
remove
ones.
us. 2 separate attendants felt the need to remove us to the far right field foul pole. So
The problem with Dodgers and Angels, and Southern California in particular sports, isn't necessarily the fans. It's the people who run the stadiums. Dodgers, same shit happens. If you are too boisterous about your visiting team, they remove you because they're just not very smart people that run the stadium.
I completely agree.
It has nothing to do with the fan base. It has to do with the people that are in charge of Dodger Stadium, and it's infuriating. I've seen people kicked out of. I've been to 100,000 Dodger games, and I've seen people kicked out for piddly shit, just nothing, because they're a fan of the other team.
You always kind of wonder about that shit.
And it's bizarre. I disagree with it. I hate it, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, and you guys have heard me talk my shit on Dodger Stadium quite a bit. We all know that I have
it's amazing.
a deep hate for that organization over there. And I think the Giants are going to win the 4th out of 5 games to start the year and be well on their way to another season series victory, within the next 3 hours here. But I digress.
Yes, you do. Good Lord.
I've been to many Dodger games there since 2009. I'm actually on a first-name basis with 3 or 4 security guards and a ticket customer service guy that has been more than kind to Nate and I over the years.
It's true.
And I haven't been thrown out of any seat locations for anything I've seen. I think that
you're generally pretty well behaved at the Dodger Giants games. I'll hand that to you. But
well, true enough. I try to be a symbol of good behavior, if nothing else. I have that saying that we all know that it is absolutely the most I could do, and that's what I'm gonna do. No more, no less. Just the most I can do. And I don't know. I get rowdy enough, I guess, and nobody's tried to move me out of the way or anything of that nature. I just think it's kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of bogus a little bit. No,
yeah, I agree with you. It's but it is what it is. You could. If we're going to talk about fans as well, you got to talk about we're going to keep it on California, Northern and Southern, because that's kind of what we're all accustomed to. We were touching on before we started recording Oakland fans, Raider fans. And I know you're one of them.
Yeah,
they're and I think even if we put a poll up on SuperiorFandom.com, the worst fans on the planet, more than likely, I think Raiders would probably run away with it. It's a terrible fan base. You don't feel safe when you go to their stadium to a Raider game if you're wearing other colors. It's almost like you're walking into a Lions den or you're walking into a rival gang member's fucking house, and they're gonna off you because you're wearing red instead of blue. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Mike, let me ask you this. you're coming from the other end of that. And actually, in recent years in particular, there's been more of a problem with the Niners-Raiders games, and they say that they're going to get rid of that preseason game they play every year.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah?
I think so. I mean, fucking people are getting murdered.
Yeah, right?
You get a stabbing every time that they meet up. And the fact of the matter is it's a goddamn exhibition game.
Yeah.
You're playing for fucking
It
beans.
doesn't matter, exactly.
You could have a practice game and just have your squads out, just sprinting around and running drills. And that's safe. And I'm not saying it's, not saying for the safety of the players, for the safety of the fucking fans. People are getting shot over a fucking exhibition game.
Yeah,
That's appalling to me.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I've never...
And that makes me sound like an asshole Oakland fan because I'm like, it's an exhibition game. It's fine if they get shot during the regular season because we all know that's going to fucking happen in Oakland. But, it's... That's ridiculous to me. I don't see
amazing.
how anyone has anything to gain from that.
And what kills me as well is that Dodger fans catch such a bad rap because of a few different things that have happened, yet you don't hear of half the shit that happens around the country with games and rival sporting events,
like rival markets.
Rival markets.
Yeah.
Well,
It's there's constantly shit that happens that don't make near the headlines that the Brian Stowe shit made. And I understand why Brian Stowe made headlines. It was appalling, and it should have never happened. But the fact that it did happen, and the fact that it was the national press that it got, everyone was like, "Oh, Dodger fans." It was an isolated fucking incident. Not too long after that, guy and his father dies up in San Francisco because San Francisco after the Giants fans kill him after. But that didn't make even half the headlines that the Brian Stowe made. It happened in Boston, in New York, when after at Fenway, where two Yankee fans got stomped out by a bunch of Boston. But you don't hear this shit. You hear about it when it happens in Dodger Stadium. Because of the quote-unquote gang-related tie, the gangs in Los Angeles apparently are. I don't know. I don't know why it's.
I see your point around that.
It's frustrating.
I think
it's incredibly frustrating.
I think fractionally speaking, when I say a part of it, not a majority, was the way that the McCourts and the organization
handled
that
it.
time
I agree with
handled
that.
it because at that time,
I definitely agree with that.
Because I think they really dropped the ball as far as making amends and trying to take care of the situation. I think they're trying to blanket it and pull the blanket over their head and hope that by morning it would just go away. And it just kept on getting worse and worse and worse. And I think it wasn't until about a year into it where they're like, all right, we really need to.
We have to deal with this.
Yeah, this is not just going to pass over.
Yeah,
it's an unfortunate circumstance on all sides, really. For being a sports fan.
For me, I just don't understand what situation would have to occur where, you got to take a weapon to a game. Where are you at? When we went to Arizona, again, this is just exhibition. I'm kind of switching it back to baseball. But that was the most chilled, laid back, easygoing sporting event I've been to ever. For fuck's sake, the usher was offering us sunscreen in the bathroom. You know what I mean? There was no gang fight.
Fucking
there.
happened.
Yeah, no,
it fucking happened. That was real.
Awesome.
That was great. You know what we talked about when we were out there was there's a different dynamic in Arizona because the people that are out there are true baseball fans. They're out scouting their teams. They're out just for the hell of it. You're getting guys that are just, getting off the street, just loving wearing the colors, watching the games at home, and get fired up because twice a year they go out and they see a game, and this is their chance to go out and get fucked up on the weekends.
I definitely am going with you guys next year to spring training.
Spring training was
It's
bad.
the best thing in the world.
It really is.
I say I'm going to do it every year, and I never do.
There's a certain intensity to it because everyone is hopeful of their team, and it's this fan intensity of just loving the sport and loving the game, and it's beautiful.
The way that I described it, and this is going to sound pretty cliche to any Giants fans that are listening, but there's just a lot of good attitude out there. You know what I mean? You don't have the people that just like want to go get hammered and like any of that. You have guys that are like die hard into
What's wrong with wanting to get
team.
hammered?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're not a good fan if you want to get hammered?
No, it's just the absolute contrast of an A's game. That's all it really is.
No. Exactly. But there's a place for that. You know what I mean?
When I say that there's no smoking grass and listen to Too Short in the parking lot. That's really all it is.
Dude, maybe that's what we need to do next time. Is
Yeah.
show them Andy Blasting Too Short. Get him ready to go.
I like it.
I'm down. Eating some honey bear. But like, let's get off the violent tip for a minute. We're moving into the basketball playoffs, and I gotta tell you,
You mean
like,
the 6-month-long basketball playoff that happened?
all
God,
right.
basketball
But-
playoffs wear me out.
But I will tell you, like,
Tiring.
2 through 7 in the West this year are gonna be like the Western Conference quarterfinal this year is gonna be the most awesome first round since like the Warriors beat the Mavericks.
It's going to be good. And if you sticking on the fan kick, if you want to talk about amazing fans, we can talk about Clipper fans.
Oh Jesus! Do we have to? Can we just skip them?
I don't know, man.
The Giants and Dodgers on. If we skip that, I think we can make it back to the bar for the 4th.
That's probably true. I don't know. We've got 2 basketball teams here in Los Angeles, the Clips and the Lakers, and bar none. I mean, this is first and foremost it's a Dodger town. It'll always be a Dodger town.
Fuck that.
But a close second.
Are you sure though?
I'm positive.
Like,
I'm positive.
Mike, do you agree with that?
It's
You've
a
been
Dodger
here a
town.
while. Dodgers over Lakers for real.
That's so hard to say. It's seasonal. It's fucking seasonal.
It's absolutely seasonal.
I mean, I think the two go hand in hand. And for
Maybe right now because the Dodgers are good.
Over
God, I can't believe I said that. It hurt.
Look at
you can make an argument.
got
it didn't look comfortable.
I got like a liver bite. Right there.
You had to fight that one out.
God damn.
Can you see the sweat running down his forehead right now?
That like
Jesus,
hurt
man.
my insides.
Look what you're doing to him,
I
Joyner.
know. He's going to go to the bathroom right now and wash his mouth out with soap.
Seriously. I just got a text from my mother.
I was
I've
gonna
been disowned.
Who are you emailing? Are those all apologies to your friends up north?
Yeah. No, that was my mom.
It's a mass text message. You know, to be honest with you, I've lived down here for 8 going on 9 years. I've bartended the entire time, from Glendale to downtown. And it seems like the fandom that goes on in LA is strong, and it goes between both teams.
It does.
It's,
It does.
Because
But-
as much as the Laker fans love their basketball, once it becomes midsummer and everything, you see white and blue everywhere.
It's true.
It doesn't. I mean, it's not even supporting the team. It's just fashionable to wear a Dodgers shirt out. I see, chicks that are just waiting for the bus, and they have the most random thrown together, outfits and everything, but there's some Dodger blue there.
You betcha.
And that's just
Doyers.
I kind of like seeing that because I wish in Oakland you could have some ghetto hood rats out just always wearing Frankie Menachino jerseys or something like that. But no one's got a cot say or
Maybe like a old school Ray Durham.
Yeah,
There you go.
Maybe like the old school Frank Thomas.
Yeah.
You guys had Frank Thomas for a while.
I don't see any
Bring
hoes.
back
Big
the
hurt.
I don't see any hoes out wearing a Craig Paquette tank top. But I'd love to see that.
Scott Brocious.
Yeah. What's the matter with that?
A Ricky half tee.
I'm with that. That's marriage material.
I will do sweet things to you. I will drink your bathwater.
You get that lady a second glass of Moscato. That's what's up.
Yo, so one thing I will say, going back to the Lakers, when they won it all in 2008 or 9, what was it?
2009.
When they won it all in 2009, that night out, like the night the Lakers won it all, that was one of the coolest nights out I've had since I've lived in LA.
You mean when they were rioting outside of Staples Center?
That was fucking rad.
Was it? I thought it was terrifying.
Yeah.
No,
right?
no.
I was at the bar that night, and I was behind the bar that night, and I've been bartending for 15 plus years of my life, and I've never seen anything like that night at the Down and Out.
Yeah,
when in Game 7 when the Lakers beat the Celtics. It was a fucking madhouse. We were packed. The bar Down and Out capacity I think is just over 3, and we probably had 450 people packed in there. Maybe pushing 5. We ran out of everything. I was by myself when all this was happening on my phone.
Brilliant.
Like, somebody show up! This is crazy. People throwing like pictures, like, "Hey man, there's a 50 in this picture. Can you fill it up for me?" I'm like, "Sweet." And the rest was going in my tip jar. I mean, it was it was a madhouse. It was a madhouse. After the Lakers won, Gypsy grabbed a bottle of tequila and got on top of the bar with her Celtics jersey on and just started dumping tequila down people's throats. And there's like, it was amazing.
I got some
It
strange.
was amazing.
I got some strange from a hottie in a Celtics shirt.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
was down. It was cool.
It was crazy, but I made $600 that night at the bar. It was fucking
Sick.
stupid.
And then,
Stupid.
Sorry, personal story, and you motherfuckers have to hear it.
Oh jeez.
Do you remember British Lisa Arthur?
British Lisa.
Redhead used to always get hammered and kind of.
Yeah.
So she and Donovan ended up taking me to Lasita, and they were trying to carry me down or up the steps, either going to or coming from the back patio. And somebody was trying to help us, pulled the entire wheel off of my chair.
Dear.
And I was stuck like in a packed out Lasita that was just as bad as Down and Out. Like,
Were you wearing a Giants shirt?
No, I had.
Oh man!
Fuck you. Fuck you if I was.
Okay.
We were.
That would have been miserable.
Fuck you if I was.
Well, I was just going to say that's probably why they pulled your wheel off, man.
Fuck you. If you did it because of that, fuck you. I knew there was a reason why I hated the Lakers and their fans. Long
come on,
live
buddy.
the Kings.
Oh,
Don't tell
dear.
us. Tell them.
Yeah, right?
Long live the Kings.
No horses in this race.
Don't be a dick. But seriously, like, before we get out of here, the one set of fans that we do have to talk about that just straight up have to get their shit together are Clippers fans.
Yeah.
You guys got to come correct.
Entirely.
You have the sickest team. Like, I don't even think they realize how good their team is.
You know,
but
they've had a life of misery, so they're kind of ecstatic right now, but they don't really know why. They don't know why they're ecstatic. It's so foreign to them. They're just not used to it.
They've been in the cave for so long. They got to let their eyes
eyes
adjust
have
to the
to
light.
adjust.
You know, you got to give them a couple more years so they can let this soak in. Because right now it's like, oh, the fuck is happening?
This doesn't even make
In the
sense.
dark. What's going on here?
I mean, they've had the worst owner in sports for the last 15, 20 years.
Decades.
Like it's crazy, and then all of a sudden he decides that he's tired of losing and starts spending money for a team that is, I mean, they just breed losers. Like they're just ooze failure.
You want to hear a quick story? Sterling came into my other job at the Cal Club and he had some little speech where he was talking at a convention. And there's probably about 150 people there, and they start clapping for him when they introduce him. I was probably the only person there going, "Are you fucking kidding me? Why are you clapping for this asshole?
This guy sucks.
This guy blows. You're into this? You're into this guy.
How are you supporting this prick?"
And this was like right when they drafted Blake Griffin, and so you're like, all right, maybe this guy is starting to turn it around.
But then Blake sat out his entire rookie year because he blew his knee out.
Dude, if you want to talk about the Clipper
Poor
curse,
bastard.
that shit was the Clipper
That
curse.
was
for
definitely
sure.
the Clipper curse working against
That was
him.
it.
That was amazing.
And hey, real quick, 2 things. Number 1, quick shout out to Neil O'Shea, the former GM for the Clippers, who went to Portland over the last couple of years and put that team back together. Good job.
Yeah,
there.
I'll give him that.
Okay, Now going back to the Clippers and their fandom, they've been bad for a while and they got horrible ownership, and I'll grant you all that. But, Mike, you and I come from up north, and aside from, like, a couple spot pockets, the Kings and the Warriors, and I'm talking about the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors, have been shitty for pretty much ever.
Yep.
Okay?
3 decades.
And until recent memory, like when all the shit went down with the Maloofs, the Kings fans were the sickest fans in the NBA, even before they got good. Even before the Kings got good.
You can certainly make that argument.
They had 300 some odd straight sellouts in a row. This is like late 90s going into the early 2000s.
This is true. They're not they've got no notoriety, but they are a bunch of just wild, rowdy Central Valley, just cowboys and kind of these are my own people, kind of hick folk that are just going out and getting Coors Light drunk and hitting their cowbells like assholes. And those people have nothing to cheer for throughout the entire season as far as major sports. Those are the people that are driving out to A's games late at night and kind of coming back and making that trek. That's why we have no fan base at all that shows up during the week. But those people have nothing. So when you have a team that's willing to play there, every third or fourth night, those people go ape shit. When drinking in Sacramento is like nothing. You can get it.
Yeah, you could get hammered.
You can
for
get assed
$20.
out for $15.
Yeah, you're
assed out. For
you can
$15.
fall down for.
And you better
$15.
believe those people are just getting tanked.
Yeah.
I've only been to a few Kings games, but it is like going to a fucking Metallica concert with Motorhead opening and Megadeth being the first band to start. It was just.
Yeah, and they're playing.
It's like a monster truck rally.
Yeah.
It smells like diesel.
I haven't been to a
People
good
are-
monster truck rally in a long time.
That's what, man. You go out to a Kings game and it is just dirty. It is.
But-
fucking
I like it.
dirty.
I kinda want a good one.
That's all right.
But they're playing the Pistons on Tuesday. Like it's not special. Like that's not what happens when LeBron comes to town or when Kobe comes to town or
Oh, no.
honestly when what the time period that he's talking about, that's more like the Michael Jordan time. But it wasn't even that. That was like an idle Tuesday night versus the Rockets. You know what I mean? Like
No, seriously.
that didn't fucking matter. And like the Warriors were like that too. And when the Warriors got good, like when the Warriors pulled that upset of the Mavericks in like what was that, like 03?
I think it was later than that. I thought it was like 05.
Oh yeah,
like
it might even be 06, 07,
05, 06.
actually. But nonetheless, like that shit gets rowdy, and that's Warriors games
fans
are
are intense,
equally
too.
fun. Like it's cool, and like I just miss it. Like I've gone to 10, 12, 15 Clippers games over my time here, and like they have one of the sickest teams that's gonna be sick for like a long.
They're going to be relevant for quite a while.
time.
Long time.
And
They're only getting better every year.
you get there and it's a snooze fest. And you go to an Angels game and somebody yells out, "Let's go Oakland," and high fives a team of little leaguers, and you get thrown out of your seat. Like, come on, man.
Well-
It's totally different, And the thing is, you go for 25 years and you have one playoff team that makes it from that. Those fans up there are entirely supportive. Down here, I think there's a little bit more going on to kind of distract you and take your attention away from professional sports, and so you're not dedicated as much. When you have shit going on, though, up there, you wholeheartedly love your team. I mean, I know a couple guys that I went to college with, a couple of these Filipino guys that had Warriors tattoos on them, and I kind of was...
Wow.
I was thinking, you guys are idiots. You look at you guys are fucking, you're numbskulls.
What are you doing, son?
What the fuck are you doing? You've got an entire.
You realize what team that is, right?
Yeah. No, I really.
You realize what you put on your arm?
Run TMC. That team is demolished for the last, at least 15 years. We haven't seen the likes of
Rock.
Mitch Richmond hasn't played for you guys for how long? But it shows just what goes on in Orange County, and to speak quickly on this, I was just reading some of the forums earlier, and Angels fans are almost giving up on their team already, and they're talking about the Ducks on an Angels site. And it says something like, well,
Ducks are good,
if this blows, I'm just going to go on to the next.
Yeah.
And there's no dedication to your team. I mean, you go to an A's game, and if you're showing up, you're wearing green. That's it. You're wearing some bit of green and gold.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. When you go to a Dodger game, you're wearing blue and white. Mm-hmm. There were tons of guys out there. There were almost equally as many guys out there wearing Hurley hats and Vans rather than wearing fucking jerseys. I had a guy who's beneath me, and when I'm getting into my rant about Barton going back and being a river cat in Sacramento, he's like, I agree with you. And it wasn't until he turned around and saw a bearded, dirty asshole gunning him down, he was like, oh, man, this guy really is a baseball fan. It's just,
right.
It's just some surfer. He's just some surfer kid from Huntington Beach. It's like, come on, babe, let's go out now. Check out the Angels game. I got a fucking Groupon deal to get tickets.
It's $8 tickets, baby. I got them on Groupon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a novelty. It's like going to Knott's Berry Farm.
The Disneyland Angels.
It really fucking is.
Oh, I hate that ballpark.
Oh, God.
It's awful.
It's a travesty.
It's awful.
It's a joke. I mean, and I don't want to rip too much into Angels fans because I know there's some old timers out there that liked the California Angels and were big Wally Joyner fans.
They've been around a long time.
What do you?
Speaking of good Angels fans, do you want to tell the story, or do you want me to do it about the kid with Down syndrome that you had having me on the train ride home?
Joyner, you missed out on this one.
Do it.
No, you shoot.
So we're taking the train home from Angels Stadium. He's on cloud nine. That they just won on a 2-run homer in the 9th.
Okay.
And I'm being a good sport. I'm riding home. And there was an old timer in an electric wheelchair, and
true baseball fan, real.
Yeah. He actually gave me a lead on some Padres tickets for this weekend when we head down there to catch 2 of the 3 in the Giants series. But at any rate, it was an old man in a wheelchair and a gentleman that was, I don't know, a little older than you, maybe, Nate.
What are you trying to say? I'm old?
No. I'm just trying to set the scene for the story.
You don't have Down syndrome.
I don't have Down syndrome. It's true.
But he had Down syndrome.
Okay.
And God bless the kid. He was a really diehard baseball fan. He was talking to us, and he was really smart. He knew he knew a lot about the players, and he was talking about how he lived. I forget where he lives. Somewhere out this way, actually.
He lives in Glendale.
Yeah. And he
Big
goes,
fan of the blue.
He goes back and forth between Dodgers games and Angels games, like frequently. He was telling me he's coming out to the Wednesday game.
You're doing doubleheaders, too.
And coming out next week.
You'll
and he talked about...
All right.
You'll see the 110 game and the 705 game.
He talked about going to both.
Right on.
And I was just like,
that's killer.
I'm inspired.
Yeah.
And he was like... But I hate, I really like the Dodgers. That's what he kept saying. He was like, Dodgers. And I was like, all right, man. And we were just kind of going back and forth. And this asshole goes, hey, you see his shirt right there? The Giants. And he had the kid, hitting my shirt, Giants, boo, the whole ride home, poking me and shit. And I was just like... You know what, man?
Yes.
If this kid can do it, you Clippers fans, you Angels fans, you motherfuckers should be ashamed of yourselves.
You gotta stand up.
Seriously. God damn, man.
On that note, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up tonight. That's a fun little story to finish
go
on.
anywhere. We can't. We've done absolutely the most we could do.
It's true. Thanks again for tuning in. Superior Fandom, the Nate and Joe Show. Again, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that jazz. Thanks a lot,
guys.
guys.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Later.
Late.